This falls under viewer requested video.
Banks and banks of humming machinery. I've never seen so many knobs. Here, try that button over there. No. Check that button over there.
This is the 1240, and I erased most of the stuff in here. This is obviously disconnected. I just saved a blank to this. And I'm going to go ahead and open it up and swap some cards around and see what happens when I turn it back on. 1240, 880. Get the Ethernet disconnected. And open these guys up. Alright, let's compare and contrast. This is the 1240. That's the 880. The jumpers are in exactly the same spot. I don't see any differences at all between the two of them. So everything is obviously handled with firmware or software, whatever. So does it sense when something different is plugged in, or is it just pre-programmed and that's it? That's what we're here to find out. So here on the 1240, we have 3 input cards, 1 output card. 880, 2 input cards, 2 output cards. Back is silk screened, but I'm going to go ahead and try and replace this input card and see what happens. In order to pull this card, I have to pull this cable and then the one on it, and then I can get the card out. See if I get the camera in a better position here. Better position for me to be working in, that is. And these you just carefully lift out. Since I'm not doing anything with them, I'm just going to have them off to the side. And then more screws. Hooray! There are 3 on the top. 3 silver ones on the top here. There's standoffs in between each unit. And then you have 2 in the front, or the back, on the outside. And then the card comes out. And out comes the card. Got the input card here. And we're gonna slide that on in here. And I want to put at least some of these, obviously the screws in the back I want to have into place. But at least one of these other screws, because I believe that is part of the ground. Everything is part of the ground for this. You'll actually see, I don't know if you can see here, maybe you can, they masked off paint areas to make sure everything, every part of this internally can be grounded. Little small details. These are a pretty good unit, however, the amount of screws they use is kind of insane. But you gotta be really careful with these and make sure you don't bend the corners. Last thing you want is to break one of these cables, because that's kind of like you can go to a local electronics store and pick these up. There we go. Waiting for that to go green, or it's going to be really upset because the cards got changed. It might be upset. Nope. I'm blinking. It's thinking. Let's see how smart this is. You can do it. Wait for that to go green. not seem to be happy. This does not bode well. Well, let's see if I can connect. So we'll go here. We'll go into System. We'll go Hardware Manager. See if we can see it. Ooh. We do see it. And it says it's an 880. Okay. Well, let's connect. Maybe it's got confused because it's got the wrong settings on it. Does not match device and product go online. Okay. Okay. New. Let's start over. We're going to open up the software again because it was mismatched with what we were trying to connect to. Power light is still red, so it's still upset. It's thinking. It's loading the project file. It's saying it's an 880, but the software's wrong on it. So I wonder if we push an 880 file. This is the original file that came off the 880 after I bought it. So what I gotta do is I want to remove most of this stuff. Delete. Okay. This is blank by itself. But what we want to do is properties. Remember the IP address was 22. Set IP address, and we want to set that to 22. Let's see if we can set. Oh, there's the device name. Let's do 880 test. That's what we're going to call it. Okay. That's the IP address. All right. We're going to go online and we're going to send to device. Let's see if that works. Changing project as to match hardware. Okay. Oh, we went green. I'm going to come over here. We're green. And we're connected. This is all the stuff that's on there, but it doesn't really matter. Let's go to... We can't go to the hardware manager right now, but I'm going to disconnect. And we're going to save settings. System, hardware manager. See what we see on the network. And there it is, 880 test. It's an ESP-880. And if we come over here, the actual unit is a 1240. So you can change the device type on these units. Awesome. That's really awesome. But you have to have a software file from one of the devices that has the right inputs and outputs already set into it. That'll be your one issue. If I have the time, I have web space, I might make a couple of these, save a couple of these files. And maybe some other people that have other units. I know there's one that has all inputs. And I don't know if there's one that has all outputs, but I think there's one that has all inputs into it. And maybe one that has 3 output cards and 1 input card. And if people that have those would upload a configuration file, then we can change these. Awesome!